Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and unfortunately, that means things are about to get really bad for Doordash drivers. Now, normally around this time of year, before Christmas happens, things are pretty good. You can average like $20 to $25 an hour pretty consistently, especially if you live in an area that gets a lot of snow. There's usually quite a bit of bonus pay during December, and things are really good around this time. But for some reason this year for me, things were really bad, and my last few Doordash shifts have been absolutely terrible. And so this could be leading into the worst January I've ever seen for Doordash drivers. And that's because January and the last week of December are already the worst times to Doordash. I've been a Doordash driver for, I guess this is my 5th Christmas season I've been doing it. And every year after Christmas, last week of December into January, things just absolutely die. So I'm pretty nervous about what this January is going to bring, considering the past few weeks of December have been really bad for me. That means January could be even worse, which, what does that mean? $5 an hour? Because I was really only making like $10 to $12 an hour this month. So things could be very, very bad in January. Now, the past few Januaries that I have dashed have been absolutely terrible. So I wanted to play a couple of those shifts for you guys just real quick so you can really see what is going to be upcoming in the next few weeks and what you guys can expect. This is what being a Doordash driver is like right now, through January and now the beginning of February. It's just rough. Well guys, I'm done with my shopping and I still haven't gotten an order. Now let's go in and see how much I actually made from these two shifts combined. So I ended up making $74.18 from the two shifts, working 5.2 hours and driving 75 miles. So after I paid my gas, which was $9.75, and after I took out money for car savings and car repairs, which was about $4, I was left with $60.72. Then I had to take out money from this for taxes, which was around $10. I was only left with a total profit of $51.07, which is just awful because that comes out to an hourly pay of just over $9. So throughout both those shifts, I was literally making less than minimum wage, which is just so not worth it. I was putting miles on my car that I don't necessarily want to be on there, and right now is just not the best time to dash. So not only is January the worst month to be a Doordash driver, but I don't think things will get much better throughout the year of 2024. So I'm going to be going over some things we need to be watching out for, and then some ways we can all combat this slow time and maybe even a slow year for Doordash drivers. So one of the first things I'm very worried about going into 2024 is something that I just figured out last night while I was door dashing. I was just driving around doing my regular shift, dropping off orders. I get a stack order from Taco Bell and I can't remember the other place. I think it was Crumble, Taco Bell and Crumble. And I drop it off and I look at the DoorDash pay and it's $2. And I was like, that's weird. And so come to find out, DoorDash does have $1 base pay now, which is just crazy. This is something I didn't know before. I mean, I haven't DoorDashed consistently in a very long time. This is kind of the first time in a couple of months that I've been doing it. And this is the first that I saw of a $1 base pay. And so the reason this is so concerning to me is because DoorDash continues to keep lowering their pay year after year. I mean, back in 2021, when I first started this YouTube channel and I was making videos about DoorDash, it was just a flat $3 base pay, I think pretty consistently across the board. I don't think it really went up or down. Maybe it did depending on the mileage or something like that, but the lowest it was $3. And then they lowered it to $2.50. And now it's $2 on every order. And now on stack orders, which I didn't know, it is $1. It used to be $1.50 on stack orders. So they continue to lower the base pay while everything else goes up in price. I'm not just talking about like DoorDash stuff. I'm talking about living expenses. Everything seems to be going up in price with all the inflation and everything going on, and DoorDash continues to lower their pay. This is not a good sign, and this is something we really need to be watching out for, because over 2024, I'm expecting to see even lower base pay. I could see it going down to $1 per order just in general, and then 50 cents on the stack orders, which would just be awful. But I do think that's coming down the line. So let's just be ready for that. We got to have the tools in place to be able to combat this if this is coming down the line. But I just thought that was crazy. I never thought we would see $1 base pay. And it's just crazy that I look at my DoorDash pay little summary thing on the app, and it shows like only 33% of the money I make comes from DoorDash Pay. And then like 67% comes from customer tips. It just seems flat out wrong. And I only think DoorDash is going to continue to lower that pay in the years to come, and it could even happen as soon as later into 2024. The next reason why I think things are about to get really bad is because they keep on implementing these new little things that are just trying to get us to accept every single order. Now, I made a more in-depth video on this. If you want to check it out, it's up at the top for you. But they just recently added Earn by Time, which in my opinion, total scam, just trying to get people to accept orders. But down the line, it also might not be a scam in the long run because they might just be forcing everyone to slowly transition over to that. And I think sometime in 2024, we'll probably be fully transitioned into like a fully earn by time thing, or they'll just make it to where earn by time gets way more priority than earn by offer, and then everyone's just going to have to do it anyway. So that's something concerning that I'm seeing. And then also this tip after delivery thing that they're rolling out in New York. If DoorDash customers are only going to be tipping after the delivery, then that's just going to be really, really tough to make good money. I mean, once you've dropped off the order, the likelihood that someone's going to go back into the app and tip and stuff like that, it just makes it really difficult. So that's something that I'm pretty sure we're going to see roll in across the entire country in 2024. So there's just all these little things that are piling up when it comes to DoorDash, and I'm sure they'll make even more changes as the year goes on, because even right now, the app doesn't look anything the same as it did in the end of 2022. So these are just things to be aware of. Now, how we can combat this, there's a couple of different ways. Before I get into that, I actually forgot to mention one more thing. In 2024, there's going to be more drivers than ever before on the roads. And I actually saw this stat sometime, I don't remember when it was, but it said by the year 2025, which we're getting pretty close to, over half of the entire US workforce is going to be doing some type of gig work. So that would mean like, I believe over like 60 something million people will be doing gig work. That's a lot to compete with. So that's just another thing to be aware of, that more and more people are signing up for these apps, and it's going to be harder and harder to get orders because DoorDash is going to favor these people that don't know really what's going on. They haven't been a DoorDash driver for 3 to 5 years. They don't know what the pay used to be like. And so they're going to favor these new dashers, and that's just going to cause more problems for us seasoned dashers. But anyway, let's get into the things we can do to combat these lower pay and all this garbage that's probably coming our way. The first one, which I feel really confident about actually, is to try rideshare. I think with rideshare, we will still be able to make $23 an hour in January and even throughout 2024. I think rideshare is just going to stay pretty steady. I don't think it appeals to as many people as food delivery does, so you don't necessarily have to worry about oversaturation as much as you would with DoorDash. And there's less variables when it comes to doing Uber and Lyft. You don't have to rely on fast restaurant workers or looking for apartment numbers or anything like that. So I think you can make more consistent money when it comes to Uber and Lyft, and I don't think it will be as slow in January specifically. And I think throughout the whole year, it will be more consistent. So just try it out if you're comfortable with that. The next thing, which is becoming a must, is you have to use multiple apps. You have to multi-app. You have to have as many apps going as possible. Now, I will make a full breakdown on how I think the best way to go about multi-apping is, but just a quick little word of advice. I've been multi-apping for a while now. I would suggest pairing DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub together if you're going to be doing food delivery. And then I would suggest doing Uber and Lyft together if you're going to be doing rideshare. And then if you want to get really fancy, you can throw in Instacart or Walmart Spark Delivery and try and figure out your own things. But I definitely think you need to be running as many apps as possible in the year 2024 to even have a chance of making some good money. The next thing you can try and do is just work more hours. Yeah, it might suck, but that just might be the times that we're in right now. The days of making $27 to $30 an hour as a DoorDash driver in a fairly small suburb are probably behind us, unfortunately. And those COVID days where we could make really good money and there was really good bonus pay and not that many drivers, those days are over as well. So we just need to be aware of this. Maybe it's going to take us a couple more hours a day to hit our earnings goals, but it just is what it is. Maybe the grind is just going to get even harder and we just got to live with it. Now, the next thing I would suggest to do is try new things. Maybe now is a good time to start trying other little side hustles, other little part-time jobs that you're interested in, and maybe you stumble across something that's more enjoyable or better than DoorDash. I think even a great side hustle that maybe I want to try in January is like shoveling snow. I think you could make more money shoveling people's driveways and sidewalks every single like Saturday morning or something like that than doing DoorDash in January. So there's a couple of different side hustles you could try, but I think right now is the best time to do that because you can't really rely on DoorDash income right now. And then the last thing I would suggest for everyone, including myself actually, is to just maybe this is the year we need to just all start trying to transition out of doing gig work. If we've been doing it for a while, maybe now is the time where it's like, maybe this is the last year and we start trying other things, trying to incorporate other things, or moving on to the other things we want to accomplish in life. Because I know I don't want to be a DoorDash or Uber driver when it's like 2030 or something like that. I mean, those companies probably will have full automation at that point. So, I mean, maybe 2024 is just a good year to start transitioning into something new and getting out of gig work and food delivery specifically, because I just think it's going to be tougher and tougher as times go on. So with all these bad things coming down the line for DoorDash, right now I think is the most important time where we need some stability as a DoorDash driver. And I think the best way to get that is by downloading the Solo app. I talk about them in almost every video. That's because I use them every single day I go out. And so if you want some guaranteed pay, especially during the slow months, I would highly recommend you downloading it, subscribing, just pay the monthly fee. It's really not that much. And on average, Solo app users make 40% more than when they don't use it. So that's something that could definitely help stabilize your income during this time where you might end up making $7 to $8 an hour. So anyways, there you guys have it. I hope DoorDash is a lot better than what I described in this video, but I honestly think it's only going downhill from here, but it is what it is. We got to just live with it. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and also check out this video over here. I would greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.